Imagine waking up thousands of years ago. The world is wild, untamed, and you're completely on your own. You don't have a cell phone, no GPS to guide you, and your clothes, just the rough skin of an animal you had to kill yourself. You're a caveman. How long would you survive in this brutal world? What does your day look like when survival is your only goal? You might think you have what it takes until you realize the challenges early humans faced. From fighting off massive predators to finding food in a hostile environment, your modern skills won't help you here. The struggle is real, and it's nothing like the life you know today. So, how would you cope? In this video, we dive into the brutal and unexpected reality of what it would be like to live as a caveman for just one day. The clock is ticking. Let's see if you can make it out alive. You open your eyes to a world that feels completely alien. The soft hum of modern life, the buzz of your phone, the warmth of a cozy bed, the convenience of a fully stocked fridge are distant memories. Instead, the air is sharp with the scent of earth, damp leaves, and something wild. It's cold. No blankets, no heating, no safety of any kind. The reality hits you hard. You're in the wild. You've just woken up as a caveman. As your eyes adjust to the dim morning light, you realize you're surrounded by a harsh, unforgiving world. The ground beneath you is rough, and the place where you lay is hard. Not a soft mattress, but a rocky, uneven surface. It's not just the discomfort that you have to face. It's the overwhelming awareness that there are no comforts, no luxuries. You're a primitive human, and your survival depends entirely on your ability to adapt. Your first challenge is immediate. What do you need to survive today? Food, water, shelter, and protection from the dangers of the wilderness. But none of these things come easily in the prehistoric world. You don't have the luxury of a local supermarket or a water faucet to turn on. No store to get your clothes from. You're wearing the skin of a wild animal. A constant reminder of the brutal nature of this world. The environment itself is both stunning and terrifying. Towering trees stretch toward a pale blue sky, but the ground beneath them is dangerous and full of creatures you don't recognize. The sound of distant animal calls is constant, and the rustling of the underbrush is unsettling. This is a world where every decision, every movement matters. The elements are your enemy, but so are the predators and the environment itself. There's no safety net. No one is coming to help you. After the initial shock of realizing that the world around you is completely hostile, your mind begins to shift into survival mode. It's time to find food. But here's the thing, you are no longer the apex predator. You are just another animal trying to survive. The animals you encounter are not simply food, they are also threats. You have to be smarter, faster, and more resourceful than you ever thought possible. You pick up a rudimentary weapon, maybe a spear made from a sharpened rock, a crude tool that took all your focus to craft. In this world, survival depends entirely on your ability to use these primitive tools effectively. There's no supermarket waiting for you, no packaged meals. You have to hunt, forage, or starve. But hunting isn't easy, and your instincts, while sharp, aren't enough. Every step you take in the forest or plain is fraught with danger. You venture out, trying to track animals. The land is teeming with life. But it's not as simple as chasing down a deer. There's a constant tension in the air, the feeling that something is watching you. Whether it's a saber-toothed tiger or a massive bear, you know that you aren't at the top of the food chain. Your heart races as you tread carefully through the thick brush, trying not to alert the creatures that could easily end your life. Every animal you encounter, whether it's a small, edible critter or a terrifying predator, requires quick, sharp thinking. The fear that courses through your veins is not just for your own safety, but because the consequences of failure are immediate. The stakes have never been higher. But what's even more alarming is that your tool set is limited. You try to make a fire, but the flint and stone are not so easily manipulated. The simplest task, like making a spark, feels impossible. Without fire, you can't cook your meat. And without cooked food, your chances of survival decrease significantly. You quickly realize that fire isn't just for warmth, it's a life or death tool that early humans needed for both survival and protection. Every failed attempt at lighting a fire reminds you of the precariousness of your existence. The battle for shelter. Sun is setting, and you're exhausted. Your hunt hasn't gone as planned. Maybe you've caught something, maybe not. But it doesn't matter now. The biggest challenge of the day is still ahead, finding shelter for the night. And the stakes couldn't be higher. As the temperature drops and the night creeps in, you realize just how vulnerable you are. Shelter isn't just about comfort, it's about survival. You know that staying exposed will leave you vulnerable to the elements and predators. As the darkness deepens, every noise around you seems more menacing. Every twig snapped in the distance could mean the arrival of a predator. You need to find a cave, a tree hollow, or some form of shelter. It's a race against time. Your options are limited. A cave offers protection, but it could already be occupied by dangerous animals. An open environment might seem safer at first glance, but it offers little protection from the elements or the creatures lurking in the darkness. The choice isn't easy, and the pressure is mounting. Should you take the risk of settling into a cave or opt for a makeshift shelter out in the open? Finally, you find a spot, perhaps a small cave, perhaps a hastily built shelter of sticks and leaves. But as night falls, the brutal reality of your situation sets in. The cold begins to seep in, and your body, unused to the strain of surviving in this harsh world, starts to feel the toll of the day. Your muscles ache, and you're left wondering how your ancestors survived this constant cycle of danger, fear, and exhaustion. In this world, survival isn't just about having the right tools or skills, it's about resilience. The human body is tough, but even it has its limits. This is the world of early humans: constant struggle, constant adaptation, and a raw, unfiltered look at what it means to survive, alone or with a tribe. The first question that crosses your mind in this raw, untamed world is, would you be alone, or would you have a tribe to rely on? It's impossible to survive for long on your own in such a brutal environment. But the question is more complicated than just finding company. Early humans lived in small, tight-knit tribes, but even within these groups, life was anything but simple. Trust, survival, and competition ruled their world. If you find yourself alone in the wild, you're at an immediate disadvantage. The first night, alone and vulnerable, will haunt you. The cold winds of the prehistoric world are unrelenting, and the sounds of predators grow louder. There's a psychological toll to knowing that any moment could be your last, and there's no one to help you if something goes wrong. But what about being part of a tribe? It's a double-edged sword. On the one hand, you have protection, shared resources, and a higher chance of survival. On the other hand, tribal life comes with its own challenges. Everyone has a role to play, and cooperation is essential. If you're not pulling your weight, whether in hunting, gathering, or protecting the group, you become a liability. There's no place for weakness in a survival-driven society. The early human need for community shaped everything about their behavior. From the moment you join a tribe, you're constantly aware of your position. Are you a leader, a protector, or a follower? Each role matters, and the survival of the group depends on the cooperation of everyone. A small mistake could cost someone's life, so trust becomes a cornerstone of tribal life. It's hard to imagine what it would be like to live in such an environment, but the need for connection is clear. Without it, survival is nearly impossible. Communicating without words. Think about this. You're part of a tribe, but there's no language as we know it. You can't pick up the phone, text someone, or call out for help. So, how do you communicate? The reality is, communication in prehistoric times was far more primitive than anything we use today. But that doesn't mean it was any less important. In fact, communication in the wild could mean the difference between life and death. Without a spoken language, early humans relied heavily on gestures, body language, and nonverbal signals. You might use hand movements to direct others, or simple facial expressions to indicate danger or solidarity. Every motion and every glance carried weight. A raised hand could signal an animal sighting, while a look of fear could indicate an immediate threat. The subtlety of these signals couldn't be overstated. Miscommunication could lead to fatal mistakes. The emotional impact of living in such a system is profound. You can't ask for help in words if you're injured or lost. Instead, you would rely on shared understanding, eye contact, and instinct. You learn to read the mood of your tribe with the same intensity you read the environment around you. This nonverbal communication is exhausting. as every interaction requires an almost animalistic awareness of each other's intentions. And then, there's the isolation. Even in the company of a tribe, the lack of true verbal communication can make you feel alone. The emotional toll of not being able to share thoughts, feelings, and needs openly with others would be heavy. It's a silent world where emotions are carried through action, not words. How would you handle that? Would the constant tension of needing to guess the feelings of others drive you mad? Early human relationships, challenges of tribal life, don't end with communication. Relationships within a tribe were complex and filled with a balance of affection, rivalry, and survival. Think about it. You're constantly surrounded by people, but you're also in constant danger. How do you form meaningful connections in a society where survival comes first? The emotional bonds between tribe members would be incredibly important. Your survival depends on the strength of these bonds. Whether you're working together to hunt or defend the camp from a predator, you need to know that you can trust the people around you. The bond between a mother and child, or between close friends, could provide emotional support in the most stressful situations. But even these relationships have their limits. In a world where danger could strike at any moment, a small disagreement or rivalry could put everyone at risk. In such a world, the ability to form relationships was a matter of life and death. But it wasn't just about affection, there was rivalry too. In small tribes, everyone had to prove their worth. It wasn't enough to just be part of the group. You had to show that you could contribute, and if you weren't pulling your weight, others might challenge your position. It was a constant test of strength, resourcefulness, and loyalty. Living in such a high-stakes environment, the physical and emotional toll on individuals would be intense. The fear of losing a loved one to a predator or being left behind during a hunt was real. Every day was a struggle to maintain your status and ensure your survival. The emotional toll of this constant tension, mixed with the need to form strong relationships, would have left a lasting impact on early humans. Would you be able to handle it? Facing predators in the prehistoric world, predators weren't just a danger, they were the constant threat that hovered over your every move. You might have been brave, strong, and skilled, but none of that mattered when faced with creatures like the saber-toothed tiger or the giant short-faced bear. These animals weren't just big, they were deadly, with razor-sharp teeth, massive claws, and the speed to outmaneuver you in a heartbeat. Imagine walking through the dense, prehistoric jungle when suddenly you hear a rustling in the bushes. Your instincts scream danger. Before you can react, a hulking figure emerges from the shadows, a massive, snarling saber-toothed tiger. Its eyes lock on you, and for a brief moment, time seems to slow. The fight for survival begins, and it's not just about fighting back, it's about finding any possible way to escape or outwit the beast. Early humans didn't have the luxury of high-powered weapons or advanced armor. They relied on their wit, speed, and the rudimentary tools at their disposal. A spear or sharp rock was the best defense, but these were far from foolproof. Early humans learned quickly to avoid the most dangerous predators or face a horrific death. Instead of directly engaging with creatures much larger and stronger, they would use tactics like working together to surround a predator, using fire to ward them off, or attacking from a distance. The threat of predators was a constant, and the mere presence of these massive beasts shaped how early humans approached survival. But predators weren't just lurking in the wild, they were a central part of the struggle for control. In the prehistoric world, every moment spent outside a safe shelter could be your last, as the line between predator and prey was razor thin. Navigating prehistoric dangers but surviving in the prehistoric world wasn't just about defending yourself from giant predators. It was about surviving the constant threats that nature itself posed. Early humans had to navigate through dense forests, across treacherous rivers, and through unpredictable weather patterns. Every step was a risk, as nature wasn't just beautiful, it was deadly. Dangerous plants, poisonous insects, and unforgiving terrain were everywhere. One wrong move could lead to deadly consequences. Many of the plants around you could be toxic, leaving you to wonder whether that berry or root you just picked would be the one that poisoned you. Even the rivers could claim your life in an instant. A swift current, a sharp drop, or an unseen predator waiting in the water could easily sweep you away. The unpredictable weather was another enemy. Storms could roll in without warning, and the cold was unforgiving. Your primitive shelter would do little to protect you from the freezing winds, and the fire you built could be snuffed out by a gust of wind. Hypothermia, dehydration, and starvation were all lingering dangers, especially when you didn't know if the weather would be kind or turn on you. The worst part, nature could strike when you least expect it. 1 minute, you're cautiously picking your way through the underbrush, and the next, you could be trapped in a flood or face a dangerous landslide. Every day, nature constantly reminded early humans that their survival was a delicate balance, and any misstep could lead to disaster. Surviving the day asterisk as the day comes to an end. The exhaustion of surviving in the prehistoric world weighs heavily on you. The sun sets, and the temperature drops. You've spent the entire day hunting, scavenging, or defending yourself, and now, the harsh reality of what lies ahead sets in. The risks you've faced throughout the day don't disappear with the sunset. In fact, nightfall brings a new set of dangers. You're tired, hungry, and vulnerable. The weariness in your body is overwhelming, and the idea of continuing to stay alert through the night seems impossible. You realize the struggle for survival is far from over. The darkness of the night hides its own threats, and predators are often more active at night. The most dangerous animals could be stalking you, just waiting for you to drop your guard. As you search for shelter, the strain of the day becomes clear. Your body aches, your stomach growls, and every muscle in your body protests. But there is no time to rest. You must find shelter. It could be a cave, or maybe a makeshift hut made from branches and leaves. But whatever it is, it offers little protection from the dangers that lurk in the shadows. Every rustle in the bushes, every crack in the trees, makes your heart race. Is it a predator, or just the wind? At the same time, the emotional toll of surviving in this world hits you. It's one thing to face the dangers of nature and the threats of animals, but the constant anxiety of not knowing what's lurking around the corner wears you down. The stress of having to constantly be on edge, to never let your guard down, becomes a mental weight that never leaves. And then when you finally settle in for the night, you realize the brutal reality. The day may end, but the struggle for survival is ongoing. Every day is a fight, and tomorrow you will do it all again. The cycle of life in the prehistoric world is one of relentless challenge, physical exhaustion, and emotional toll. It's a world where survival is the only thing that matters, and you can never afford to stop fighting for your life. Surviving as a caveman for just 1 day is more than a challenge. It's a brutal test of strength, resilience, and wit. Every step you take, every decision you make, could mean the difference between life and death. The prehistoric world was unforgiving, and the struggle for survival was constant. It was a world where the smallest mistake could be your last, and the bond between tribe members was essential for making it through another day. So, next time you think about how tough life is today, remember the resilience of early humans. Their ability to adapt, fight, and endure is a testament to the power of survival, even when the odds are stacked against you. If you enjoyed exploring the harsh realities of prehistoric life and want more content that sparks your curiosity about the ancient world, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. Join us here at Mente Tranquila, where we dive deep into the unknown and discover the fascinating, often shocking truths about the past. Stay curious, stay resilient, and remember your survival instincts are stronger than you think. See you in the next video.